Hello everybody, it's Maria here from Pepperly Rose Paper Crafting. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Welcome and thank you so much for watching my channel. Today I'm going to be featuring the Sailing Home Bundle from Stampin' Up. This includes the stamp set and the matching dies. I'll be using both of these today. The High Tide stamp set, and I'm also going to be using my rectangle stitched dies as well. Now the reason why I am featuring this beautiful stamp set is because one of my beautiful viewers who has become a friend, her son and herself watch my videos together, and he enjoys watching my videos, and I am so chuffed that anyone really watches, to be honest, and I'm blown away generally speaking, but I'm also blown away that children like to watch as well, because crafting is a very useful activity for children to do. It's good for their fine motor skills, and it's generally very relaxing and very meaningful to create something that you can give to somebody. So for me, this is like a dream come true for a child to like watching my videos. So Michael, hello, and thank you so much for watching my video. So today I'll be making a card that you can follow along with as well. And I'm also going to be sending this card off to Michael. So Michael, thank you, and I hope you enjoy this. Now, his mum told me that he loves boats, so how pertinent is this stamp set too? And she also suggested using this stamp set because they have the catalogue at home. She's also a demonstrator, but she loves looking at the catalogue with her children. So this is just a beautiful thing, and I'm really pleased to help out with this. So I'm going to design a card using these images here and the birds, and we're also going to use that water image. This is a fantastic image, love it. Sorry I'm shaking the camera. All right, so we'll get started on this card. What you will need is a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, or whatever you wish to use. I've already cut and scored this, so it's just basically half an A4 and scored in half again, and that makes an A6 card base here in Australia and the UK, but feel free to use whatever card base you wish. And I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock which layers on the inside, and it's basically 1/4 of an inch shorter than the card base. Now I did use the new Stampin' Up trimmer with this, and already I am finding, and this is one thing that it's doing fuzzies on the edges. This is something that I think has to do with these kinds of blades generally, I don't know, with the drag blades. So I haven't really used it a month, but I will do a review in a few days' time, because then it will be a month of continuous use, and I'll give you my honest feedback on the trimmer. So you'll need one of these, and 1/4 of an inch shorter, and just a scrap piece of cardstock to cut out. And also I've got some more scraps for me to stamp my images and cut them out. So with this piece of cardstock, we're going to do some ink blending. So I'll just grab my craft sheet, which I forgot to get, so just bear with me for 1 second. I'll just quickly grab that. That's one thing, I always forget one thing. Despite my efforts to set it up properly, I always forget one thing. Isn't it terrible? Alright, so I get a lot of questions regarding this craft sheet, and it's basically a non-stick craft sheet by Ranger. You can do mixed media on this, paints, heat emboss, you name it, you can do that with this. So it's really handy to have. And what I love about it is that I can just roll it up and put it away without it taking a lot of room. I'm going to do some ink blending, and I'm going to use my makeup brushes. I love these things. And let me see. Now, I'm going to cut this out using the largest of these. So I'll just have a feel for where I'm going to do my colouring. Alright, okay, so I'm going to be using Balmy Blue and Blueberry Bushel. I'll start off with the lighter colour of Balmy Blue and tap off and just... And now with the Balmy Blue, I'm not going to go overly crazy with it and do 100% coverage. I want the coverage to be kind of a little bit kind of sketchy, if you catch my drift, because what I wanted to do is look like there's clouds in the background without me actually stamping clouds or doing anything like that. So I'll make the background a little bit darker and come across this way as well. And yeah, it's a fun, like if you're not overly precise with the blending, you can add the effect of clouds that way too. So it's a good effect to do. So I think that will do me for the clouds there and the sky. Give this a quick clean with my microfiber cloth. Then I'm going to move on to the next colour, which is Blueberry Bushel. And I'm going to do the C with this. So I'm just going to stamp off and just slightly go over. And again, it doesn't have to be overly precise or even in coverage, but it's just enough to add the effects of the ocean. So the ocean also varies in colours, it's not just the same thing over and over again. I made some marks here, but it doesn't matter. All right, so that's my sea and that's my sky. I'm just going to clean that up very quickly, and I'll clean my brush. And then what I want to do as well is I want to ink up another piece of cardstock. Now, these are for my boats. Just bear with me for 1 second. I'll just get a few more little scrap pieces. I've just brought another piece of scrap cardstock, and I'm going to use Old Olive, and I'm going to blend that as well. Just want to do all the blending whilst I have this out. So I'll just grab the dies for the smooth sailing dies, and I'll just get an area of where I'm going to blend. So I'm just going to blend that so I don't over blend and waste cardstock. So, and I like the look of blended ink onto the cardstock and then cutting it out. It just adds nice shading without really going to a lot of effort, and it gives the die that's otherwise very plain life, and I like that. So that's what I'm doing that for. So I finished now my ink blending. Very quick and easy. You can do this very quickly. Just clean that up. Alright, so I've just finished cleaning that up now. So I'm going to bring all of my little bits and pieces here. With that, I'll leave that to the side, but that's in Old Olive. Love it. With this here, I'm going to grab the stamp here from the High Tide. That one with the water. Love it. And I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel. And I'm going to stamp directly on to the card. So that looks like the ocean. Isn't that beautiful? Take that away for now. And then I'm just going to stamp the sail, the yachts. So I'm going to stamp 2 of these and 2 of these. So we're just going to have a whole heap of little yachts, about 4 of them all up. So I've got my thinner pieces here, which will be perfect for this. Actually, I only need 1 sheet. Isn't that great? See, that looks beautiful. And then I'll stamp on the other side. Okay, so that's 2 done. And that's in Night of Navy. Just give my stamp a clean. And then I'm going to grab the other 2. Yep. All right. So that's spare in the end. So that's 1. And that's 2. Okay, beautifully stamped. And then I'm going to stamp the birds, but I'll leave that till last because I want to stamp them strategically so they can be seen. So what I'll do now is I'll bring up my Big Shot and I'm going to start cutting all of my little elements up. So, okay, first things first, I'm going to cut my front panel. That looks fantastic, and I love the stitched details on that. Beautiful. Then I'm going to use my other dies, the Sailing Home dies. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to colour those boats in. Sorry, I thought it's best to colour them in because it's a bit hard when they're cut out and they're small for me for some reason. All right, where's my other sheet? There it is. All right, I'm just going to bring, I'm going to bring my watercolour pencils. I love the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dura. These are the same colours as the Polychromos. The only difference is you can watercolour with these and you don't have to use anything fancy to do that. I'm just using a blender pen and I'll be blending the colours. So the colours I'm choosing is I'm just going to colour the bottoms of these boats, these yachts. So I'm going to use a blue like this, and I'm going to use another one that looks like that. That kind of looks like Perfect Peacock, and that looks like that other new one, Seaside Spray. So I'm using those kind of colours. And then I'm going to use some green. I'm going to use also like this green here. Could be Call Me Clover. And then I'm going to use red. That's very similar to Poppy Parade, I think. So these are the colours I'm going to use. Very simple colouring in, nothing spectacular. Alright, so for the big boat, one of them, I'm going to use the Perfect Peacock colour, if you want to call it that. It's the Stampin' Up colour. It's just to add a little bit of oomph to it. Okay, and I'm just going to use my blender pen and just blend that out. I love these pencils. They've got really nice, strong pigment, and I highly recommend them to anyone that wants watercolour pencils. You can't go past Faber-Castell. Okay, so that's that one. The other one is the Poppy Parade equivalent. Just colour that. Now, the reason why I'm doing four yachts is because this little boy and his mum, they come from a family of 4. So there's going to be the dad, the mum, and the 2 kids, and they're both boys. So I think it's like a sailboat family. I don't know if I'm right in thinking that, but I think it's a cute idea. So that's the red one. So I'll show you that now. Isn't that cute? Then I'm going to colour the other 2, one in Seaside Spray equivalent, and then the other one in like Call Me Clover sort of colour. Maybe it's lighter than that actually. Maybe it's like the Cucumber Crush of the past. But anyway, I like those colours, so I'm going to use them. Just scribble off here, and then I'll use this side here. I think I had a bit too much green, so I'll just go over the top with that again, make it darker. That's better. All right, and I'll show you that up close. I didn't do any shading or anything spectacular, just straight on colouring, and I think they look wonderful together. So I'll put my pencils away. So we are done with the colouring now. So what I'll do now is I will cut these sailboats out, and I'm also going to cut out that image too. So I'll just bring over now my card base, and that's the largest one here. But what I want to do is actually cut a 1/4 of an inch off that, to be honest. It'll look better. So although it's an A6, lengthwise I'm going to trim that down 1/4 of an inch. I think it'll end up being 5.5 by 4 1/4. But anyway, I'm going to take off 1/4 of an inch. Let's make sure that's right. Yes. And then that way it sits a lot nicer. Yep, I think that's great. And then the inside panel as well, I'll need to take off 1/4 of an inch too, that way. So just on the side. Let's see if that works out. Perfection. Okay, cool. That worked out perfect. All right. Now, for the inside of the card, I am going to stamp on that. So I'm just going to use the smaller boat, and I'll just do that over here. Smaller yacht, and I'll just go like that. And that is it for the inside, and that's a quick way of dressing up the inside of the card as well. So I'll just clean that up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this down. Do here is just add this over here, and then I'm going to just position the boats around everywhere. And I'll stagger these like that one. And where's my other one? Oh, it flew over on the other side. And like that. So I think that looks good like that. And then I'm going to add the sentiment, set sail in the direction of your dreams. That is just so cool. But I'm also going to stamp some birds just to make the background interesting. So kind of do it like this. And I'll just let that go off the side a little bit there too, like that. All right, so I'll just stick this down, adhere this down. And I'm going to get the bird's image from the Sailing Home stamp set. And I'll just stamp some birds up there in Night of Navy. Now with these stamps that are really skinny, try not to go too hard, otherwise you'll end up with extra marks you don't want. And then I might do some down here too. Just position that again, and I'll just do that to the side there. I'll just mask off the area there a little bit, like that. I think that turned out beautiful. I'll keep the ink out. No, I'll keep the ink out. Sorry. I was just thinking if I should stamp the sentiment or not yet, but I think I will. And I'm going to stamp that over here, just there. So I'll ink it up. And that's in Night of Navy as well. Okay, now. Let's just stamp that. Oh, that turned out not very straight. Okay, so what I'll do maybe in this instance is I'm going to stamp it on here. And then I'm going to cut it out with the smaller of the rectangled dies, stitch dies, and I'll stamp it out in that. Yeah, that actually works out very well. So I'll just make sure that I have it dead straight. Alrighty, so now that's straight, and then I will pop this up here like that. So get rid of that and this, and then what I'll do is I'll stick that right down with some glue. If you make a mistake, just try again another way, and it's, you know, nothing's lost by doing that. Alright, so that looks good. And then I'm just going to bring back my boats, my yachts, and we'll get cracking on that. Isn't it cute? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope, Michael, you enjoyed watching me make this card, and you can make it at home as well with your mum if you wish, but I'm sending you this card to thank you as well, because he sent me a card, and I'll just show you that in a second. Just hang on a minute. Really cute card that Michael sent me, and thank you so much, Michael. This is a beautiful card. I love the monkey and the lion and the elephant, and I love the jungle theme, and I love the colours he's chosen. Isn't that gorgeous? Thank you so much, Michael. I love this card, and I love your cards that Mum sent me as well. They are beautiful. So I hope you like this card today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.